of all, that's really interesting and cool, but they've actually expanded it since then. They're now actually using that same data, that same information to detect whether the surrounding area is in danger of a forest fire and that the dangers might be in the road. It's about smart cities. Being able to have this edge capability with large-scale compute that might be bigger than what you would have on an on-premise implementation or on someone's...
To the day. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I request you all to please stay on stage. I'd like to invite Mr. Srini Chilukuri, founder and CEO Tensor Go. Chilukuri to the stage. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, do keep in mind that this panel has been powered by Akamai. And one more round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Where innovation meets scale. Manufacturing. India's manufacturing meets scale. Manufacturing. India's manufacturing story is being reshaped by technology, sustainability, and impact-driven innovation. Technology, sustainability, and impact-driven innovation. Our third panelist is Tessa Thomas. Our third panelist is Tessa Thomas, Vice President at 360 One Wealth. A round of applause, please, for Ms. Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. She brings a round of applause, please, for Ms. Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. She brings a strong blend of financial acumen, strategic.
I would say very mixed. I think the 25% of GDP has, I think, stuck at 16-17%, which is not great and not terrible. It's reasonable level. Annualized growth CAGR over 10 years, I think we're at 6 to 7%. Reasonable level. Annualized growth CAGR over 10 years, I think we're at 6 to 7%. So that's also not really hot. So all in all, it's clearly a mixed bag. It's certainly not an unqualified make in India. With that being the case, let's get started. We have, as you know, some very eminent investors here with great funds. And what I really like about this panel, and I suppose it's by design, but could also be otherwise, is that the sectors that Ashwini, who's representing a relatively younger firm, and I think their focus, and I'm sure he'll tell us more, is manufacturing, climate, and perhaps even financial infra, storied impact investment firms. And I think the work in financial inclusion, agri, etc., microfinance, I'm sure all of you know it's legendary work. So congratulations to all of you for doing view from the Make in India perspective. What is going right and what is going well for your sectors?
First of all, good morning, everyone. Thanks for making the time on us. We were renting satellite capacity, and defense manufacturing largely meant subcomponent manufacturing and export. Today, ISRO is partnering with some of the best deep tech minds in the country and not the only player in the room. And that's just not incremental, right? I think that's truly identity shifting, government reserves, reforms that's come in, or the defense corridor build out, the private space policy, all of that has unlocked, I think, a private sector market that just did not exist before. We've made a meaningful headway, I want to say, at least in these sectors in the last 10 years, and I'm sure Ashwini and Sanjay both will sort of echo those sounds.
Within that, what is Make in India doing that is working well?
Sure. Good morning, everyone, and thanks a lot for this opportunity. Or given us a great opportunity where a lot of engineers definitely went into that and got a name for India. And we feel that this is that's the main area, and we invest at stage companies, space, defense, manufacturing, manufacturing industry, 4.0, 5.0.
Investors, what that really means is we invest in businesses which has a positive impact on the lives of the poor people and or the climate, right? So how it connects, Shantanu? So we've been actually, we talk about investing in Bharat. We've been investing financing. A lot of that financing goes to fuel some of these manufacturing, that Make in India is trying to achieve. And then, basic stuff like agriculture, food processing, and so on. All of that forms machines and so on and so forth. That feeds on. All of that forms machines and so on and so forth. That feeds into the larger sort of manufacturing. Very important base, by the way, from a Make in India manufacturing. Very important base, by the way, from a Make in India perspective, right? If you just take the agro processing where there's been a significant growth, there are significant growth. There are challenges to that as well, but clearly there's significant growth. One element of the Make in India campaign is actually, or the sort of what government drive wanted to campaign is actually, or the sort of what government drive wanted to sort of manufacturing growth. Some of that is fueling a lot of the manufacturing growth. We expect a lot more will happen. Some of that is fueling a lot of the manufacturing growth. We expect a lot more will happen. We're starting to see some sort of green shoots of that now over the last few years. After that round. So maybe anything that comes to mind that you are proud of. Law of
remote sensing missions for ISRO while he was there. Now is building in what is called Earth observation. So today that technology exists, but in that journey, the product has already been tested for 500, 600 hours now. On a drone. They're also building their sort of buses. There's like anywhere from, I want to say, 3 to 8 to 10 years of hardware built. Hardware built out that's required. This company has been around for 4 years. That's when we invested in the company. This company has been around for 4 years. That's when we invested in the company.
They came up with a nano factory where you have the ingredients
to NBFCs today in this country, and there are so many of them really coming up, and they're so interesting, so many of them. So, and SME credit is certainly one of the big areas that people are trying to innovate. There is a lot. But I think this point about skilling, both of you made somewhat contradictory statements, which is good. He's saying that it's not going to happen, and because automation is always going to run faster than human skilling. The joke is that the world doesn't wait for people to get skilled. The world finds. Yeah.
No, so I don't necessarily, buy the story that we're only going to have dark factories. Again, I don't have the stats, and I don't know how. If you look at in the world, we are like some 3-4% or something, right? But even somebody as large as that, yes, they have these large gigafactories, but I understand a lot of that is still fed by the SME vendor system, which be made in a dark factory with just robots working. Maybe there will come a time. It's like, we've been talking about AI, and there's a thought that, AI will make everybody redundant, and there'll just be a few people,
You're right. So, I always say that you won't lose your job to a machine. You lose your job to a person who knows how to use a machine better than you. Right?
And one more thing, Shantanu, what happens here is and lot more inclusion would happen. Right, thereby the numbers would increase. You can't expect a factory and to employ 1 lakh. Like even if you take the semiconductor, people working there.
I was going to say 50, but you're being generous. Yeah. 50 acres requires 50 people now, I think, of land, yeah. So Tesla has been waiting patiently for us to, stop doing the people think rocket ship investments, but you are investing in rockets. So double entendre. But having said that, in your case, do you think Make in India has been an unqualified success? There is no problem.
Defense has been a fairly, like you mentioned, fast-growing segment, but no growth comes without some teenage acne. So I think there's some of those, right? Like procurement cycles can sometimes, especially if you're a dual-use company, it's very a tricky sort of business to be in. But I think that's one part of the problem statement. But just even if US interest rate changes, that's the capital that's needed, because like we spoke about earlier, deep tech hardware takes time to build. So you need domestic capital that supports that across VE, private sector.
Right. Wonderful. So we've got 10 minutes left. Let's make it interesting, because the audience of TIE is always an audience of past, present, and future entrepreneurs, right? So with that in mind, imagine we were a world, a lot of geopolitical stuff will shift, we know that. In the technology world, things are shifting. So far we've successfully managed to run 40 minutes without talking about AI. So for that, I compliment all of you. What entrepreneurs would emerge in this 10 years that we would be talking about 10 years from now? And the reason for talking about that is that give people an idea of what is worth building, in other words, right?
For you, this truly is, I think, been in like the best decade in India's history to be building in these spaces. So today, almost I want to say all of the deep tech, the software is enabled by AI, which is generative in nature, right, in its intelligence. So that's, I think, the zip code that even all deep tech founders are sort of building in. But I do want to make sure that I'm, like, especially, we can debate whether that will get built in India or in the US, but if the capital market can match the talent that already exists in this country, I think those are all interesting areas to build in. But I do want to leave the conversation with specifically relationships compound a lot faster than revenue could. So those may be like parting thoughts.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Ashwin.
SaaS, you can pick authentication module, you can pick encryption module, you can pick payment gateway module, you can do, and just do the core business, right? Learning, at least I see and I tell a lot of entrepreneurs, including myself when I was building, is that if you can't do anything in 2 years, then you are too late, right? Because the competition, because then you have the early mover advantage, then you can do a little bit of pivots and so on and so forth. And especially for Indian context, with amount of you can get as a grant, debt, or any shape or form from the government as well, because there is enough money sitting there. Obviously, the transparency has to increase and reach has to increase, but that is something we do for futuristic, keep a watch on it. Third, are you getting the finances, low-hanging finances available? Are you grabbing them or not? Keep a watch on it. These are the three.
Nice.
Offshore, we build software which sells offshore, but a large amount of excitement has really been building products which can be sold to the large Indian market. We as investors, and granted we are not sort of really deep tech investors, we were not deep tech investors about 10 years back, but we were looking for people who would do more stuff in manufacturing, and it was difficult to find those people. I think is in the software realm, we have always done that, and we will do that. Hopefully we'll do that faster and better than other people in the world, but I think we'll build a lot of stuff more with atoms. People do a physical AI, where you really have robots working, right? So we see a lot more people coming up in that. Space and defense tech is part of that, but I think we will see a lot more of that. So we'd love to obviously see that, but be very difficult to find still people who have scaled up yet. It's going to take time. But hopefully in a 10 years time frame, we'll have a lot more people who are really building stuff.
Nice. So, all of you said very interesting thing. If you feel like you're not ready yet, that's fine. But whoever thinks you have a ready answer to say that, look, if I get this skill, I'm already interested in this entrepreneur.
That, Tessa, you don't need to believe my idea. You just need to believe that I won't quit on it. And I think that's exactly what we look for with founders, right? That building in a market like India, it does take a lot of resilience to build here. And you want to back founders that are just that.
That have high conviction and high resilience.
To be that way. Where it comes to skills, people who are doing engineering for 4 years, MTech is much more serious. Once they come to engineering, industry adaptation is very important. Otherwise, the 4 years are kind of lost, or not enough justice is done. Apart from the marks, studies and all, fundamentals is fine. But I think skilling...
Adaptability, all right. Sanchan, yeah.
Perseverance. I think maybe restating the same thing as she said. Perseverance without a doubt. I think, we've been around 20 years. We've seen companies go through all.
And somebody asked him, like, so what is that skill in an entrepreneur that you will always back? And he says, look, in the history of entrepreneurship, only one set of guys make money. These are the guys who never give up. And wonderful audience listening to us, so thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for this very, very insightful, thought-provoking panel. Thank you to each of you. Please do stay on stage. I'd like to invite up on this our panelists and moderator with a token of our appreciation. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you, Mr. Sanchayan Chakrabarti, Mr. Aswani Chaitanya, and of course, Tessa Thomas. Let's give them one. The crossroads of a healthcare revolution where innovation, investment in artificial intelligence is set to transform how we deliver care to over a billion people. So let's in our next to over a billion people. So let's in our next over a billion people. So let's in our next
you have a lot of growth coming in, right, from across the healthcare delivery sector. So today's panel, what we wanted to discuss is how is the growth panel? What we wanted to discuss is how is the growth?
43,000 hospitals in private sector in 43,000 hospitals in private sector in India, then around 23,000 hospitals in the public sector, with the total bed, I think 20,000 beds to 30,000 beds are getting added into the sector. So there's a lot of growth, and private equity investments, approximately 1 to 1.5 billion is moving into this sector. So there's a lot of going to impact the future going forward. So today we have on the panel Mahadevan Narayan Muni, or Mahad, is a senior analyst at TPG Capital, one of the world's largest hospitals. Mahad also co-founded Aknamed, a tech-based driven hospital supply chain platform backed by LGT Lightstone Capital. He's an alumnus of IIT centers across India, 35. I think the number is increasing, which is good. 35 centers across India. He's a first-generation entrepreneur with over 20 and a background that fuels his passion for blending healthcare and tech. And I believe you also have a health tech company as well. So it's a delivery and health tech. CEO of Asian Institute of Nephrology and Urology. I think they raised a lot of fund from TPG Capital as well, and other firms, and planning to hold senior leadership roles at Fortis Hospital in Delhi and Mumbai. And finally, we have Kinjal Saxena, who is CTO of AIG Hospitals. We work very closely with Kinjal on, I think we'll have a lot of thoughts and discussions today for the panel. So together, I think we have a great panel. Welcome to everyone, and all the panel members bring different perspectives, packed, right? It's like, if you go to any hospital at 10 o'clock in the morning, it's full, irrespective of which hospital you go. So what are the drivers?
In considering, let's start with access. If you look back number of years, just access to healthcare across the, forget metro cities, tier 1 cities, tier 2 cities, and happening in the country. I think second one is really the disease burden growth, which is an unfortunate situation. NCD, non-communicable disease burden growth, is growing faster. Infrastructure and service, and that's following through. I think third is really one where India significantly lags behind the rest of the world is insurance penetration, right? Actually, we lag behind several of the large countries on burden of care being moved from the state to the private sector, right, which we have seen happening secularly over the last several years with Ayushman Bharat and so on and so forth. The states are basically saying, hey, we'll spend X, a big factor. I think several cities would not have had 100, 200, 300 bed hospitals if not for the state insurance spend, because I think that's another kind of important driver. Probably the last, but not the least, is access to capital. I've been looking at this sector, and Kiran has been operating in this sector for a tiny individual investor for a 30 crore investment into a hospital chain, right? 6 months, multiple negotiations, lawyers, diligence to get 30 crores into a chain. This is, I'm talking pre-2005 time frames. From there to the billion and a half coming into the country. So clearly access to capital, project finance, because somehow healthcare is still not considered infrastructure in our country. Okay, it is considered a service. At least insofar as a hospital is concerned, it is infrastructure. But they continue to deliver, they continue to grow, and there's a basic level of cash flows that come. So I think that can be a further unlocking of capital and therefore growth over the next few years. Right, because I mean, one of the hospital boards I sit on, CARE, if you see our investments over the last 2-3 years and what we have planned for the next 2-3 years, we have 2 locations. It is the everywhere from Nagarkoils to Erodes to Vizag to Raipur to Ranchi. These are the cities that are seeing this capacity addition. No doubt, it could be around doctor engagement models. It could be around using telemedicine a little bit better, radiology better, having centers of excellence and trying to do a hub and spoke model. There's sort of business process innovation.
Fertility, and how do you see the growth coming in going forward?
Thank you, Rajesh, for this opportunity. So, nursing home downstairs and their house upstairs, and then fertility was just an extension of the practice. So, this was about 2 or 3 centers in Hyderabad at that time. You could clearly see that it was a very, it's 5% of India's population is under the age of 35. So we see the size of the problem it is. So, and it's always been that there was more demand than what supply was in centers or the places who have strong processes and standardized protocols and things, which we will talk about it probably on the tech side, will really win. We do have a tech platform on which all these workflows are mapped, and that's pretty much has been the backbone for us to really scale to different places. And
it's part of the fertility, and that's where you differentiate, and that's where you build the technology behind it.
Absolutely, I think that's one key element. Obviously, on how well we actually engage with the customer through the journey.
Be on the growth path very, very soon. So, obviously, AIG is sitting next to you. So, I just want to understand from you, from a multi-speciality.
Additionally, so urology, nephrology still largely, or I would say significantly exists within the multi-speciality ecosystem only. We are one of the very, very few players who are doing single speciality. That becomes what our entire ecosystem is about. We typically say that dialysis is one of the, while we kind of claim to have the focus, making sure that the patient knows that and feels that becomes very important. AIG was one of single specialty. It's just one of 17, 18 different departments in a multi-specialty. Here we try to kind of bring that focus, clinical excellence, patient centricity, all dedicated around. That's increasing in India. There is a lot of need for quality healthcare services. Access is a challenge, and it's really not possible to go put up 200, 300 bedded hospital surgery in Siliguri. So we are able to kind of give that value to the patients also. So you walk into an AINU, any part of the country, you still have access to the full suite of services that are there to be offered.
Sure. So as you...
Enabling more patient efficiency, enabling clinical efficiency, like Kiran was saying, how do doctors interact with each other? End of the day, all of this leads to patient satisfaction because we want...
Sure. Yeah, thank you. So to transitioning to Kinjal, I know we worked very closely and we have implemented some of those operational efficiency. What are you seeing and what can be done? Because that's where I think most of the people want to start companies to solve some of those challenges, right?
Sure. Thanks, Rajesh. Hours within Hyderabad itself, with getting very, very specialized into oncology, cardiology, and others. Very simple. We don't, for example, in setup of healthcare, there is predominantly a patient, a doctor, nurse, or a technician, and then there is the whole. How we are solving the problem for them is we are giving them the tech, whether not just AIG hospitals, but anywhere they have gotten a reporting done, maybe want to go to AINU or any other hospital, they have their entire data ready with them. So that's one aspect of it, like a health wallet. Just making it life easy for patient. Using operation theaters better. Because even if you are able to increase one surgery a day, that is quite significant for a hospital. And I think that's what we are doing together with IoT-based trackers. See, healthcare is a highly manual dependent industry. Every single aspect is dependent on humans. And you can't take them solution. So normally, about 10 years back, what used to happen is a doctor and a patient used to have a normal conversation with the eye-to-eye contact with each other. The thing that is happening is no more typing. Because believe it or not, most doctors type with 2 fingers. They are not good at typing. So with this, a lot of fatigue so improves clinical accuracy. Because at the end, if they are less tired, they will be providing much better care. So that and challenge to all these adoptions is truly...
There is a uniform theme here, right? So there is growth in the industry. Patients, I think the demand is high. I think lifestyle changes are to help companies scale as well. So just want to touch upon one small thing. Okay, technology is important. Given having we working for the last 3 years with healthcare, some of these challenges, maybe we can start with Kinjal and then...
very aptly pointed. The only thing is, while the data is not standardized, take a picture of the paper and fills that data and standardizes it quickly. Rather than building very fancy solutions of, getting in...
AI. So, to Mahad, how do we, in your experience, either whether it is an AI problem or a data problem that is solved specifically for the healthcare side, can you...
because, the lots has to be tried over the coming years. I think there are a number of good examples, right? In the US in particular and even in India. So we have Tempus, data capture and response, right? How do you use AI for that? There is an internal 4 walls usage of AI, which is how do I use AI or data. So there is a lot of solutions going after the 4 walls. Then of course there is an aggregate level sort of usage of tools, which is for more directional. There are names I mentioned are some interesting ones. But I think what would I feel drive success or failure is a clear focus of the entrepreneur on are you a B2C? It's amplified purely because we've been 10 to 20 years behind all other industries on tech adoption. Okay, so I think that's where I see AI going in the industry. So.
Sure, thank you. So to Kiran, follow, especially when you're using an AI solution. So you're a tech person. You said. Pretty sure we'll be building AI solutions.
Doing some predictable analysis and all, and that's when the 4th ingredient of AI would come in. So it's very, very early days. I think the people who are doing it, let's say, of the AI applications that we are doing, based on all the past information that we have for specific parameters for the male and the female, for instance, we are able to actually get to a certain prediction where I think applications that have started to come because it's an easy plugin is on the image processing side. So for us, we are now able to rank and grade the embryos that would need to be transplanted.
Specific advantages that AI gives, especially when you're looking at very focused kind of solution. there is a lot more that can kind of be extracted from a value perspective, where not just help in decision making.
Clinical AI side.
Clinical AI, so we are right now in validation phase because clinical aspects, the biggest problem is we just can identification of liver diseases with just simple blood markers. Ideally, it can only be found with a fibroscan, which is a very costly test. Especially when we are building it in India to file patents, so that at least if we are not licensing, at least we will have freedom to use our own technologies.
Correct. Yeah. I think that's a wonderful point, Kinjal. I think a lot of...
Actually, coming to the startups, I think one most important thing is hospitals should spend a little more on these things. So that's... investors would disagree with me, but it's time. With you, Kiran. It's time. No, we do it. We do it. The executive will speak to the patient. There's been an AI solution which has improved it by about 20% in terms of our, patient's response rate. Things like that, if they can be demonstrated in, say, a week's time, it shouldn't be too complicated in the sense that it's not additive, but it's be truly transformative, right? As an investor, I would like to see the additive side so that I can see the profit improvement or revenue, which hospitals are not spending time on, subject to them willing to spend more money, but less on some of the data-intensive and generative side, because that will take longer. The data build
office staff, we have service staff, we have security staff, we have managers, we have marketing staff, we have sales staff. All of them come from very different backgrounds, very different experiences, very different kind of roles they have to play. The more it can be integrated into everyday operations, the easier it is for adoption, and even as an administrator, easier for me to just greenlight it and try it out, right? Because I have a nurse, a doctor,
and I'll be a little bold here. A lot of startups fail in healthcare is because engineers are building solutions for doctors. Go to the doctor, go to the nurse, go to the CXOs of the company, operations staff of the company, ask them, if I build this, will you use it? Or if you don't have an idea, just spend time with them and ask.
Some universities. So can you highlight just, what's the partnership about, and if a startup wants to work within that ecosystem, how can they be part of it?
Of course.
I'm sure TIE is also a part of it, but...
And also, build the solutions with the stakeholders very easily. This is an ecosystem which is missing in India, unfortunately. So what we at AIG have tried to do is we got with ISB and we got...
I'm sure a lot of startups learned quite a bit today about healthcare sector and how, some of the solutions they can focus on. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for your time. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Gardela. Thank you so much, gentlemen, Of course, ladies and gentlemen, joining us on stage, we have Thai President. And of course, remember, ladies and gentlemen, this very, very enlightening panel has been powered by Achala Health Services. Let's give them one more round of applause, please. Focusing on real estate. As we all know, India's real estate and infrastructure sectors are on the brink of a digital revolution. PropTech is redefining how we design, develop, and deliver spaces. Mr. Patnaik, I believe I'll hand over the stage to you to introduce our panel.
A round of applause for Jaggi. Jaggi is the CEO of Prestige Developers, as you know, one of the top real estate developers, headquartered in Bangalore, one of the best listed entity out of the real estate. I will now welcome Raja Sitaraman on the stage, on the dais. Raja happens to be the founder of the first ever PropTech in India, the session. So thank you panel speakers. The session. So thank you panel speakers.
Property and tech, but if you look at the way real estate in the overall life, in the overall life cycle has pretty much imbibed this whole with RERA coming in So at every level today you see coming in. So at every level today you see, and from occupiers, end users, even from your side of business, even from your side of business, people who join dots, consulting companies, they all depend on data, and data is consulting companies, they all depend on data, and data is PropTech.
A leading developer Prestige, he is the CEO of Prestige, and the first leading developer Prestige, he is the CEO of Prestige, and the first PropTech founder who started PropTech in 2012 rates the PropTech in 2012 rates the PropTech sector in India as 4 out of 10, right? And this is really alarming.
5 to 6 because
4 out of 10, right? And this is really alarming.
5 to 6 because our is more service oriented, and then lot of operational things things are there. So we need more tech support to have a more.
In the US, PropTech
tech support to have a more.
In the US, PropTech is called as RE Tech or CRE Tech. The PropTech as a term started in 2016. The PropTech as a term started in 2016. It was primarily a UK Europe term, right? Which is why UK Europe term, right? Which is why one of the reasons, because of I think 2 reasons. One is real estate folks have a certain inertia to implement technology.
Technology guys don't understand real estate, right?
That's right. That's a primary thing. And whether if you take into account
one thing, real estate guys don't want anybody to know real estate.
Yeah, that is also correct. That's true.
Jay, go ahead.
I'll just but in the last 5-10 years, if you look at our design approach, the aspect of BIM being, the other side, the aspect of BIM being, the other side, I still feel that governments are making a huge leapfrogging statement with all this digitization of, you look at RERA today. RERA is from click and close, the leapfrogging and adaptation of technology. If it comes from government, it becomes very simple, and that's exactly what we are seeing right now, adaptation of technology. Sorry, I just want to...
Thanks, Jaggi.
Coming a flex office space, we'll call it as a flex office, which is co-working and managed office. From a conventional office space to a more collaborative and kind of experience-centric. The hours each company is using, and we are trying to incorporate the tech into the housekeeping services, like there is an alert system will come when there is a need for cleaning the wash.
He left a lot of money and left WeWork. So Jaggi, just to give a perspective, you have seen how you are the first CEO of WeWork India, and a very successful listing of WeWork recently, I think as recent as 3 weeks back.
It's not just restricted to, using PropTech at leadership level. I'm just giving you a small example. Today, all our occupiers to be on one umbrella. People can order a sandwich through technology on their phones up to the desk. They can raise tickets. On the other side, from developers' perspective, and you sell the costliest land in this country now. So I must tell you, when you go to see land, all you look at is actually. So I think at every level, we are embracing PropTech, but it's just that it's almost part of a routine life. It's not something that, and also especially in your industry.
Back in 2012-14, he owns 2 companies, PropTech and Zepkey. Any leases anywhere in India gets registered. Any office leases get registered. They have the data. They can exactly tell you about the company.
Real estate as an industry functions, right? It's very localized. You can't have a single solution across the world. You've got to customize it. And then you got to warehousing, residential, robot. It's all PropTech in some ways, right? But, when you're trying to implement any of these solutions, to a particular extent, and they're pivoted now. And for that journey, you'll need capital as well, right? In the US market, the P and the VC market now have kind of collided. They've merged. Right? AI, cloud, intelligence. Intelligence without the correct raw material is hallucination.
Protected globally.
Good. Thank you, Krishna. I think you are a young developer, entrepreneur. So I think you are very, very upfront. The other day when we were talking about
an area where we are seeing the maximum adaptation, at least in the life cycle of the real estate, asset management, like Raja was mentioning, the construction life cycle, which is the beginning part of real estate, and the asset management.
But what are the typical challenges you feel the overall, the real estate startup, whether it is managed office space or typical startup in real estate, face in raising money?
As a very early stage, and then the bankers or the private equity people were not so confident at the time whether we can fund the assets. Now that this industry will still grow, and then we'll have a lot of opportunities in fundraising.
So I can tell you with all confidence, audience, after 2 years, I think she will be on stage for raising finance, overall scenario, because you have seen that, as you are the oldest prop tech company in India.
Yeah, so I'll go back. Yeah, so I'll go back when the problem also started for markets like ours and even Europe. Because the US market is completely different. I mean, to give you a perspective, India market is equivalent to Manhattan. It went on to a minority PE investment, and now both are kind of doing PE type of investment into PropTech together. India, I don't think you have a pure play
company in India.
Look, if you leave out CoStar and look at VTS, they may be about $2.5–3 billion right now. The need of the hour. So that's my response.
I just wanted to add one point. This technology is became very important in fundraise process, especially.
So we are fourth largest market. To get your facts correct, in India today is 65% of Asia Pac real estate.
Wow.
Okay, so that's a big number. Asset class, hospitality, warehouse and logistics and data centers and all of that. There's huge opportunities. Raja,
in COVID, right? They are kind of shifting from office to hospitality, the buildings and all that. But I'm as happy as you are, as we are progressing, right? I mean, it's good for the country, it's good for us as a company as well.
Time to convince me to adopt the process and then technology, and we from last 1.5 years, we are spending a lot of efforts to bring everything process oriented and then adding tech.
Much more rapid now. Again, like we were discussing, asset management is growing at a much faster rate, and construction related technology, I think it's a little more specific based on location or based on build.
Of investments being done on a fractional basis, right? Now it's being blessed by SEBI. And you also have an initiative called...
Just for 1 minute, explain the audience about fractional ownership.
Tokenization into this entire fractional model. Imagine how transparent it's going to be and how easy it's going to be the entire process. So there are several such...
that real estate touches with PropTech. And I think the only, as developers, we are ready to invest, in every aspect. In fact, you look at our
situation. Audience, please hear this question of mine. You have 2 CR to personal money to invest. All of you are in real estate, spoke a lot about PropTech. 2 crore to invest. Will you come from Bombay? Thank you, guys. I think we are almost at the end of the session. Thank you, and thanks everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Just once again. Let's present the token to our panelists. A big thank you to Ms. Sundari Patibandla. Sandeep Patnaik, as I mentioned earlier, he is the CM champion who curated this panel discussion. By Loestro Advisors in collaboration with TIE Hyderabad. We have on stage. I'd like to also request Mr. Kiran Chandra
in this hall, okay? The backdrop of this book launch is not only to highlight the startups or potential startups that would require investment in the ecosystem. There are also
Dr. Reddy is a renowned defense and aerospace scientist with over 4 decades of contribution to India's strategic programs and R&D ecosystem. He has led premier...
Today, we have come to a stage where last financial year, out of the 1.75 lakh crore capital budget, 1.5, and particularly when you talk about Hyderabad, Hyderabad is an important epic center of defense. I'll tell you, today in Hyderabad, we have more than about 12, when I say Agni, it is Agni 1, Agni 2, Agni 3, Agni 4, Agni 5. These sort of things which are all developed here. And in fact, I like to mention, which are all developed here. And in fact, I like to mention the pride of the country, the mission what has been conducted, Mission Shakti, country, the mission what has been conducted, Mission Shakti. As I said, we are going from 40,000-50,000 crores, we are going from 40,000-50,000 crores or 30,000 crores to 1.75 lakh crores, and after that in 2 years 3 lakh crore. Colonel Rajendra Bhatia, he is the president of Rajendra Bhatia, he is the president of SIDM, the largest body, Now he is the CEO of HFCL, one of the units which is the CEO of HFCL, one of the units which is in fiber optics, electronics, fuses, ammunition.
Any big system, it could be an AMCA or a tank. Any big system, it could be an AMCA or a tank or a missile system, which has got multiple sub. Industries are expected to take the ownership and the leadership during the production phase. So this is how the major macro production phase. Till date, about 80 projects costing more than 300 crores have been sanctioned for the Indian industries, which is helping especially the young startups and the MSMEs in taking their developments further. Manufacturing assessment and rating, where we take the help of QCI, which kind of assesses the maturity level of the industry to see to support and how to upgrade themselves to the levels which are required for partnering in the defense ecosystem. We have also,
and they do everything, and industry what we are and we need, to work separately and all that. It is not so. BDL
organizers and TIE for giving us this opportunity. Like what Dr. Reddy said, we have been in this business of weapon system. Give you a few examples, like Akash, Sarsad 84, in today we are in majority of the missiles, 90% of it comes from the foreign OEMs, and now they are all indigenously produced. I will give you an example of the Concourse missiles. The startups are funded, 50% of the project cost is paid by the government, 50% by the startup. DPSUs and the larger companies, the role we play is to synergize the efforts of the industry to make Atmanirbharta a true reality. Thank you.
Look at Amrit Kal, and when we say 2047, by which time by which time the India should be a developed nation, we are looking at a figure of the defense budget is on the manufacturing end. It's also very heartening to note that the defense will always have a tierized structure for manufacturing.
Mr. Sampath Kumar, he has grown in the industry from very small young man, from that stage to a CEO now. And also he worked.
I completely agree with them. It was not so easy. All the Indian industry who are in MSME or the mid-sized companies, it happened May 7 to 10. All the youngsters who are here, who are interested to enter the aerospace sector, to read this document, lot of product has been listed out. You can start working on it. Another thing I will tell you, highlight some of those, start working with companies who are working in this area, and definitely you can get benefited out of it. The key modernization programs which are big way, those days for Boeing program. Boeing in 2014 had a zero sourcing from India. Today, which will be contributing for the growth of this India. Today, which will be contributing for the growth of this country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sampathji. I like to mention Mr. Sampath worked with DRDO. Thank you. Thank you. Now the house is open. So all of you, anybody has got any queries, any clarifications, and please ask.
Defense development is a long drawn out affair. Defense development is a long drawn out affair. Because it has a developmental phase, it has a testing phase, it has a testing phase, it has an acceptance phase, and then only it gets complex programs. The period lies between phase, and then only it gets complex programs. The period lies between 36 months to 60 months. And today, 36 months to 60 months. And today in communication, highly digitally or AI related, barrier for the next chap is that much longer. So you're going to be, if you have developed something, you'll have 10 years of free run before somebody comes in. So please take it in that principle.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam.
Yeah. Very good afternoons. The question is, I represent Thai women.
More interaction from you.
Very good. Thank you.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. My name is Balaram Varanasi. My question is, sir, per capita income improvement statement, essential for peaceful prosperity generation for the careers of the youth. It is the same standards, integrated
networks. So the defense is very much into it, like what he talked about, the internet coming from the research and development of the defense
sector, and have they helped us in the Indian Defense Department?
Maybe.
To answer your question is a very...
So you have to get...
to answer your question is a very...
So you have to get in touch with the laboratories, get in touch with the industries, and see what are the parts, and how you will be able to make faster delivery, quicker delivery at a lower cost, and how you will be able to make faster delivery, quicker delivery at a lower cost, and all that, and so
had DRDO itself doing a major event with the college students here about a couple of months back. We had, I think, more than lakhs of students participating.
Some of those challenges like IDEX and TDF and all that in the Ministry of Defense, there are where Your own ideas also you can project and give it to them as thought processes. They will be evaluated, defined really useful for the
And thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Srimati Chandrika Kaushik, Commodore A. Srimati Chandrika Kaushik, Commodore A. Madhava Rao, Mr. Rao, Mr. Sampath Kumaran ST and Mr. Rajendra ST and Mr. Rajendra Singh Bhatia, and of course a big thank you to our moderator,
who has made this possible celebrating his birthday. So we made this possible celebrating his birthday. So we want to celebrate his birthday in front of all of you. Please don't leave. Guys, can you please bring the cake? Rajesh, come back.
Which is how to AI-fy an organization, how to build an AI-first organization, how to build an AI-first company, how to AI-fy a country, right? And that is the struggle that we are all dealing with. So to have groups and ChatGPT and Excel spreadsheet, but nobody has built a very streamlined product just for lawyers, just for farmers, principals. So that is what I call the work operating very well. We know how to doing them separately. Now the time has come to integrate. So we obviously need bottom-up startup integrate. So we obviously need bottom-up startups to keep doing individual things, but we also need top-down startups to start thinking about your preferences, what kind of movies you like, where do you live and work, what is your calendar and all that. And it does the negotiation and figure out what is the best alternative. And by the time you hang up your phone, it has already become emergent intelligence. So think of a whole city as a product. Think of Amazon as a product. Think of retail or telecom network as a product. And these are the products of the future. In a pilot, how do you do airport security? All these systems have to come together to create an airline ecosystem. So what does that system thinking mean in domain after domain after domain? Is something we want to think about. A few months ago, the animation should have come. But now imagine, today we in Reliance Foundation and many other foundations, we get 1 lakh calls per day from our farmers in different. What are the system of records? We think about what farmer profile is stored every day, every farm. We know what's going on, and the entire medical. Agriculture investigation and labs. We have to integrate with appointments and in-person and medicine systems, right? So you see again the theme is we have built the building blocks in all domains: healthcare, education, agriculture, right? A new process, do reasoning over 5 things. But 99% of the workflows in most domains are already known. We don't have to discover them again and again every time somebody does.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Traditional family office across generations coming into space. So I think we'll start the discussion, and happy to hear everybody's Aditya, somebody who has built up businesses, sold off businesses, run the startup cycle completely, and now is completely helping through VC Mint in Hyderabad.
Firstly, thank you so much
Really honored to be a part of this panel. When I first started the idea of creating this family office, I realized that 95% of our net worth is started to look very
defensive and very timid. Oh, I need to find a way to preserve this capital. Oh, I need to find a way to preserve this capital, right? I need to be able to hand it to the next generation. Companies. To the next generation. Companies. And the mindset that we will have on the 85% of the capital, and the mindset that we will have on the 15% of the capital will be very different. But we do that exactly the way that I as a founder or an entrepreneur would have liked to be done, sitting on the other side of the table.
So thank you everyone for having me here. I think I probably will bring the front. I think as a startup founder, and I can give you an anecdote, right? When we launched in 2015. When we first went into Southeast Asia in 2019. To understand the individual region to do business in that country. And in that context, family office was very, very helpful. And I think in those contexts, I have benefited immensely from family offices. So I definitely
investments for last 15 years. You call it family office, or you call it family office, or you call it as a private investment by individual as an institution. Then organizations started investing into companies which are more strategic to them. What I have seen is especially a large organization, next generation is coming to India. Somebody might have worked for as an investment banker. Or a private equity coming and starting a professional family office. Which are structured standing of the industry. So I'm seeing that any industry which is growing, for them to be relevant, they have to be closer to this innovation. Just to be closer to the industry, they are investing into companies.
Beyond check to the startups that the traditional funds do not. Is there something? Are we competing always? Are we complementing?
So many times we have many ecosystem partners which can be integrated into the platform and take it to the market. So that way, for go-to-market.
Following on that, it's not like many VCs come with a preconceived notion that this is under this valuation we don't want to enter. Whereas family offices can be a little more flexible. They can deploy their funds, wait a little longer.
We've seen over the last 10 years, VC funds come in, analysts sit in all these discussions, but you're wondering, are they bringing anything more than capital? To then have founders...
They're also business families, also understand much better in terms of what's the constraint, what's the speed, etc. So I think the ownership of directly it being their money and knowing how businesses run.
For that piece in between. So if as a family office that is investing in startups, if you're able to position yourself nicely, right, this 100 to 300K kind of, band.
How about you, Manish? What do you think?
I think...
How about you, Manish? What do you think?
I think speaking personally from our family office standpoint, since my family manages and operates,
doing a lot of investments, are the funds in India bringing to you some strategic deals, or Are you seeing collaboration there?
When they have seen us in operation, these investors, they find that, hey, Rohit could be good at this, Chaitanya could be good at this, Jayant could be good at this. And they bring that individual person and actually make the ask saying cap table, who bring deals to us as well.
So Rohit, coming to you, since you mentioned that you have raised a lot of money from the institutional investors and family office, what does Rohit prefer to? If you are redoing the same journey and you have both of...
Lot better in some contexts, right? A phone call from a family office to another founder or their network works very well in some other context, right? Like I said, if you're going to really was helpful when we launched in Southeast Asia, etc., right? But if I have to now go into the US and say I'll have to solve with one family office, I don't think there is one.
% is into VCs, hedge funds. This also constitutes our public market portfolio plus wealth managers. We've allocated about 50% to doing NCLT deals, pre-IPOs, organizing structured debt, etc. So what are their unit economics like? We personally would like companies or startups which are doing at least 2 crores of annual revenue rate. What is their life grow, or take the feedback loop from the family offices. The fifth and the most important thing, as everyone would have guessed, is money. How many?
Because I'm hoping that whatever we said, right, that multi-generational custodian, wealth preservation, and all of that is happening on the 85%. But at the same time, if I were to put everything in an Excel spreadsheet and take decisions, I think it takes away the X factor of invest. Very artsy, little bit emotional, having gone through the founder journey.
Right. And for me, I think the stage probably defines it a lot. Who I'm excited about, who I believe can build a large company, is how my decision making is.
What kind of founder?
So I think a combination of parts of that in the past, right, generally comes through a reference, because either it comes through the funds that have invested in them or some other friends who've done that. So at least comes with a certain level of hard. And second, they can articulate, sell, right, their vision, I think is what I look for.
No, for me, mostly strategic investments. Wherever I understand the business, I trust. If they are investing into it, I just put co-investment and don't really bother much.
So I'll give it back to you.
Couple of $1 billion investment every year, and most of the money is going into 7 top players. So, and as an investor, when I wear an investment hat, I always wanted to balance between how much I wanted to invest in. Even let's say as an investor, go at AI speed if you wanted to bet on the right company.
No, I think it's exciting for sure, because to be honest, at some point we were like, oh, this has a function, because we've been building in this space very deeply. There could be multiple other functions which we understand very deeply. How can I use what's getting built to be relevant for that is where I'm spending.
A little bit like internet. You're never going to say, hey, are you an internet company anymore, right? You don't say that anymore. So you're not going to say, are you an AI company anymore? It really goes back to business fundamentals. What problem are you solving? Who are you solving?
Fitting, or are they hiring some specialists to sort of automate some of the repeat tasks? In terms of AI investment, there is one particular company we backed back in the proprietary LLM themselves. So when we realized that they are building it and they're bringing the costs down, we made a bet in them, and they've grown massively since that time on.
Got it. So coming to...
And they have lots of experience and relationships. So I have seen that they take 4 to 5 companies become part of the board, very closely work with them to make it successful.
Send me a message on what's the latest update and how can I help. Right? Very WhatsApp centric, this thing. So it's limited to that. So that's why there is no limit on number of companies.
The maximum value is added.
Yeah. So coming to the next one is about, starting with you, Aditya, post-deal expectations. What do you have from
support that's required? The last one is just the capability and the character of the founder, right? Do they have their heart in the right places? Do they have good leadership integrity? And are they able to communicate their vision to the rest of...
Again, I am not their biggest check, definitely in the business. Right? So it's not going to meaningfully change their life, or like I'm not going to push them or drag them to sell or anything. So what they can use an honest perspective on the situation they are in, what can they do, etc.
Got it. Anything from you, Sridhar?
I mean, as a founder, if you are a family office, it's everything. If you just visit them and you see how the culture of the organization is together, to passion to build the organization, I think that tells everything.
It's changing very fast.
Okay.
It's changing very fast.
Okay.
being the same this thing, then I would look for who's coming on the board and spending time, right? Then I would look for who's coming on the board and spending time, right? So if the if the partner at the venture capital firm is the somebody you want to spend time with versus
coming towards this
is the somebody you want to spend time with versus
coming towards this startup investment. You said about 15% of that is now being allocated towards this. So you said about 15% of that is now being allocated towards this. So do you see or can family offices also come into the micro level investments? Can family offices also come into the micro level investments? Let's say
do larger tickets, come in much later, de-risked, all of that. But it's come in much later, de-risked, all of that. But that said, if within the family they have the bandwidth to be able to do it, I think they have the bandwidth to be able to do it. I think.
So, gentlemen, sorry to interject, but we are not able to take any more questions. So, gentlemen, sorry to interject, but we are not able to take any more questions in the interest of time. Mr. Joshi, would you maybe like?
Ladies, me guy or accelerator or a startup guy who not only enters the battlefield but finds a clarity, purpose and success within it. Who is that Lord Krishna in this? I'd like to ask you a question. Who is Lord Krishna there and Sherpa here? Can you give, both of you give a little clarity about this?
Where the businesses became Abhimanyu as well, kind of not able to navigate the whole thing and come out of it. So here the specific and works on based on certain ground rules and people, processes and systems. So or the mentor or they could be some policy. So one of these could act as a guiding hand for them. So identifying that catalyst and associating with them is from a context point of it, the catalyst would differ from project to project, and the people who are working in the B2G, they'll be able to identify those things. Yeah.
So that's the point. So we're not talking about Abhimanyu here. We're talking about the Arjuna.
Arjunas, yes.
Okay, so you find that there is entire process, navigating process.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great. Thank you so much.
Already working with the government through public-private partnerships or through other EPC contracts. The key issue here is how a bright idea which is in the realm of public service. It's like watching a Korean movie. It's a beautiful actors out there. Everything is good. The audience are really curious about it, but you cannot connect with that small enterprises. The language and the narrative and the purpose statement that they define is not in sync with what the audience would like to hear. Complicate the narrative, the way we communicate as an enterprise. I think we need a fantastic translator. You may call it as a mentor, you may call it as an incubator, you may call it as a administrative staff college, or it could be any of the institutions, or it could be T-Works or T-Hubs. These institutions are established with a purpose of translating the narrative play. They have to amplify the role and they have to go aggressively to take this forward.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So during our research, we understood that global defense panel, they said 1.76 lakhs opportunity is there in the defense sector side. Now, this is something that everybody is talking about, the startups, because this is core focus is about.
And most of this business is being awarded through a very transparent and public procurement process. So whoever wins through get impacted due to changes in the policy or in terms of certain tenure of the governments being completed. But however,
benefit for the women entrepreneurs. So will this be an opportunity for the startups?
Absolutely. For example, the rules have been changed in the terms of and very recently, even the performance bonds, which would be allowed as a security bond now.
Okay.
Earlier, it is only bank guarantees or the EMDs are allowed. Challenges, but there is equivalent number of opportunities which are there. If they know how to, as Sir said, how to get through the translation of the language and have a translator in between the government.
About next coming decade, is it getting into the government? Is it technology? Or is it transparency? Or the policy? Or all together?
Going to be the big shifts. So I think if I were to invest, I would invest in AI, take it to the government so that there's a big shift, and from that we can create multiple public system shifts in the country.
Great, thank you so much. Srinath Garu, this question is for you. When you started, it must be like a startup, big projects you have done it. Can you give me one example to these startups over here?
And option one is if you are able to win on your own merit, that is one way of doing it.
Okay.
And if you can't, associating with one of
consortium definitely work.
Yes, consortium and joint ventures do work, especially when you are at a small stage, when you don't have 100% of a capability at your end.
So you need to
about the complementary partners who could bring together so that your winning chance improves.
Fantastic.
That partner could be a partner who has a good clout in that.
Question for you, because I'm being there to ask you many times, and you have chosen small businesses people and given opportunities. Most of them, you just mentioned that more than 200 companies
are a problem statement.
Melinda Gates Foundation also you have done, Bosch.
We identified the problem statements and then we strongly scouted for enterprises, especially agile enterprises. There could be big companies. If you want to institutionalize this sort of process, I think we need to have a smarter way than dependent on an institution or an individual. But we need to find a better way. I think Bangalore is a Bangalore who are deeply committed to changing the way Bangalore works. So they provide that ecosystem for innovations to nurture and come. And they provide the so-called HNIs, high network individual ability to transformational innovations. It doesn't exist in Hyderabad as compared to Bangalore. Whether you take moving forward.
Great. Who doesn't stop that? We can do same thing in Telangana here.
Absolutely, we should be doing it. I think we need a convening power. We need somebody like Mr. Reddy or Tai or some of those entities to convene these
Great.
sort of, and create an ecosystem for innovation to move forward.
Fantastic. I think over to you, Srinath Garu. Listening to all these things to B2G, I wanted to talk about a little about iCollab. What does iCollab does, and what is that you're bridging here, and how are you solving the small businesses to come to your place and get things clearance? Like, what does that do? iCollab, what does iCollab do?
So, iCollab is a public foundation primarily to help small businesses who are interested to work in the public sector, that is primarily in state, central and PSUs, the business. And iCollab is a revenue accelerator, meaning iCollab provides opportunities for the small businesses to win those contracts. Partnering and advising. Okay. And we bring the translator who could help improve the chances of winning.
Okay.
Winning. Look at, I quote I give an example where recently there was a...
I wanted one example.
Yes.
What you have done it.
Yeah. So, criteria.
Okay.
So we help
But
them.
you just heard that qualification is not necessary, EMD is not necessary.
Absolutely. So in the qualification side, most of the time the pre-qualifications are set such that, okay, for MSMEs and startups, they do qualify, but they don't qualify on technical grounds. So in such case, they need to partner. We help the businesses to might have worked in a POC and they don't end up getting the works. So in such a case, what are the options that they have? So these kind of mentoring and advisory services, as well as
So do you fund them?
So space.
Great.
So that's and it's a foundation where the companies who are in the B2G space are partnering to take the step forward, so that the opportunities are created for the small business.
Such big projects, there's an opportunity for the startups, and there's a process there. Can you just delve on that? How these small businesses should come
for them to understand how to navigate the jungle of public systems.
Okay. जंगल में तो बहुत सांप रहते हैं.
So jungle में शेर रहता है, सांप रहता है, but there's also a lot of wealth in jungle.
Very good.
So you need to know how to navigate the system.
Okay.
So I'll give you a small example, the tiniest example. I think very close to this place, we organized an event like this for a lot of climate tech startups. One of them is on rainwater harvesting. Now that company started in 2019, around 1920, just before COVID. And now the company is about a 50 crore turnover company in rainwater harvesting space.
Wow.
Now, how do you do it? You work with national highway authorities. You need to give them what are the areas that they need to target, which government departments are looking for what. For example, metros, there are about 25 metro stations are coming up, metro projects are coming up. Every metro project in India requires rainwater harvesting to make sure that whatever water is getting accumulated goes back into the ground. So there is a sustainability requirement, but there's also flooding requirements. Okay. So the cities where this is going to be happening, like Delhi, Gurgaon, including part of Bangalore, Chennai, so we need to really guide them how to navigate, how to prioritize, which department to reach to.
Who is that guy? Who is going to navigate them?
I think in this case, we have done it as an institution, as ASCII, we have done it at that time. But I think we need to create such Arjunas or called Sherpas in hundreds and lakhs in the country.
Excellent.
And that's, I think, we need an ecosystem for Sherpas itself. We need to have 100,000 Sherpas in the country to navigate the public system. That itself is a business.
Fantastic, sir. So now, due to the constraint of the time, but I wanted to delve into one most important point is, these many startups who are actually working in many different sectors, are there any core sectors in the government they should focus upon?
Which are in really, there is a large government spend that's happening is defense is one, maritime is one, railways, and energy transition.
Great. Yeah. Great.
So energy
I think the
transition.
message is time up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Great.
energy transition is one big space.
Great.
And also like in as I said, urban development and energy transition both are space.
Great. Sir, over to you.
So I'll just keep it quick.
Yeah.
I think we are at about 50-55%. There's a massive demographic shift. If I were to bet, the biggest areas for startups and ecosystem is a circularity and sustainability space.
Okay.
Water, sanitation.
Great. Great. I think depending on the time is up. I mean, I could able to see everyone over here. Thank you so much, Professor Chari Garu.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause, please, for our panel. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's welcome so much, gentlemen, and a big thank you to Mr. Pagadala and Mr. Kakarla for doing the honors. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to a very exciting moment.
Hello all. Hello all. A very warm 11 of amazing women entrepreneurs who were chosen after tough rounds of screening had put up their businesses ideas to the eminent juries. And out of TGS Jaipur, which is going to be held in January of 2026, TIE Global Summit. Global Summit. So each of that journey today, what we saw is an UNICEF International Council member. Of that journey today, what we saw is an UNICEF International Council member, and we all know this very well. In 2025, she became the first Indian global ambassador. Know this very well. In 2025, she became the first Indian global ambassador for beauty with a point of compassion, leadership, and global impact. My true pleasure, ma'am, to have you over here. We really want to thank you from the bottom of our heart. So you have spared it.
And ASAP. Expand services to more languages. Expand services to more languages in 2 years.
The Thai Women Program 2025. Let's build your big thing together. To know more, visit a big thing together. To know more, visit thaiwomen.org.
Continues to impact countless lives through
.org.
Continues to impact countless lives through education and social initiatives. As a daughter of Shri G. Raghav Reddy, founder initiatives. As a daughter of Shri G. Raghav Reddy, founder trustee of GPR Charities and International GNITS and other institutions under the Charities and International GNITS and other institutions under the GPR Charities Trust have emerged as centers of academic excellence, earning national awards for innovation and employability. A member of FLO Hyderabad, the Telangana Censor Board building. Thank you very much. And very important piece of information that I would like to say, GNITS had very graciously supported Thai Women Program by providing their facility received for full 24 hours. Our women entrepreneurs providing their facility received for full 24 hours. Our women entrepreneurs spend the received for full 24 hours. Our women entrepreneurs spend the night over there, full of cultural activities, amazing food, and everything was full of cultural activities. Amazing food, and everything was taken care of it so well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It is edible and water soluble.
Edible and
edible.
And yes, packaging is used for food material.
Food, pharmaceutical. There are many applications.
It's based out of Hyderabad.
Which means green or sustainable. So we are majorly working on sustainable technology need of the award. With that, we have come up to this stage. Thank you.
It's about water.
It's very, overwhelming. Thank you to the dignitaries on the stage and off the days. So we are Avinya Neurotech, and I'm Soumya. I'm one of the co-founder. So unconvulsive state is epilepticus. Generally, we term it as prolonged seizure attacks that happens in the ICU, which lasts more than 5 minutes. So if this condition is not controlled at the instant,
Thank you and congratulations once again. With that, I would like to call committee members, our president, vice president, please come on the stage with all the winners as well for
We'll just start. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
On putting up a spectacular event. Today, I know the events that you do throughout the year, the mentoring, the competitions, the networking, to bring that flavor into universities, colleges, and schools, and that's how we're associated with you as well. And I always say this when I have founders or entrepreneurs in front of me, that they are the most courageous people.
I would like you to consider adopting Thai Women program for the next few years. I would like you to consider and also help these young entrepreneurs to reach the next level.
In the mind, and she said they were under clinical trials and they were about to launch in few hospitals. This kind of healthcare advancement is very important. More elders to get scanned because of the expense, because of it, how expensive it is, MRI and all. If it could help really to the all sectors of people and give good benefits and results, then we will definitely support. native solutions, and oversees operations, talent strategy, and culture, aligning innovation with organizational growth. ML Gen AI FICO. And Mr. Lakshmi Narasimha Murthy, K, AI Founder Fellow, InSeed AI Venture Lab, Co-Founder and CEO, Niche Brains.
Nobody goes out. So watch out, it's your opportunity to lose, right? Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you, GPR, what we call it lovingly, and
visited a couple of universities in a couple of weeks back. I'm planning to visit a couple of more. Working with professors, I think when I went and met one of the professors in the college, they're preparing the students with readiness to the industry, and they're very happy to talk to us, understand the requirements, and get the students aligned with our requirements and prepare them 6 months before they can come and join us. I think that's also a collaboration. That's also, the working together. There's a lot of ideas. You may want to try and see which one works for you. Best place for you to go and then collaborate and leave the projects and bring the interns in there and start those projects and talk to the professors to see which ones you wanted to work together. Only thing is, you have to be very clear about your NDA and what kind of initiatives you wanted to, do with. So I do see, keep my answer shorter, the multiple places you can do, the universities, or could be small startups, or it could be already a small company which is, operational for a few years. But as long as you see the synergies and you have the vision and the goals matching and you can trust each other, that's where the partnership can work.
Yeah, Kiran.
If I may add to that, I think great points. But I also say that typically when some of these GCCs are partnering with either a startup or another provider, they're looking at domain knowledge for sure. Increasingly, you can't, as a provider, be at all places. You'll have to pick and choose your battles. So what I have seen is the ability to sort of master domain and be able to play in that for the purpose of a GCC or someone like that is becoming increasingly important. The other factor that I see now partners are beginning to do a lot more is to sort of come up with models that are increasingly a lot more amenable for GCCs. They're coming up with outcome-based models. So if a GCC were to sort of create an innovation lab, they would probably have to put a decent amount of budget to do that. Whereas they could sort of outsource to a certain extent to a partner of choice. That I see is also another model that is encouraging some of these GCCs to sort of get involved with partners.
Wonderful question. So, Lakshmi, I'll reverse the question to you. You being a startup, if you want to maybe work with any of these two gentlemen, they are the GCCs here, how do you want to pitch for them?
Right. Thanks for the question. It eases thing. So I would like to see three things actually as to how I can fit in their areas of work. So I call this as three kind of a fitness. One is a strategic fit. The second one is a tactical fit, and the third one is a cultural fit. Actually, strategic fit is about, as a startup, I have a vision for the organization. Now, how does it fit in the long-term goals of these companies as well? Now, can this strategy can go in hand on hand, or is going to be one of a problem or a project that will drift my goal? That is one thing which I'll see. If there is a alignment is there and there is a long-term alignment, I would definitely want to go and pitch about how we can add, I would say, added value to this organization. This is one. The tactical fit is more about how I can build the capability to fulfill the strategic needs that is arising through this kind of a collaboration, in terms of building the resource capability, building those infrastructure capabilities to leverage their already existing strength, and as well as my own value proposition as well. The third, which is very important, is about the cultural fitness, because as a large organization, you have a different way of working, and as a startup, we have a different way of working. So how this agility, experimentation, quick thinking can fit into more governance, risk aversion one, and then still kind of meet as a two matched puzzles. So these three things are the main criteria I would like to look into it. And then if as any startup scaling and collaborating with any of these GCCs, if they are able to find these kind of three fits, it will be easy for both sides to talk and then work easily.
Wonderful. Very well summarized, Lakshmi. Thank you. So in summary, I think, as I mentioned, there are tons of partnerships going to be much needed as we scale to the next level, particularly the GCCs, the large organizations in Hyderabad in particular, or in Telangana, so to say, as the tier 2 cities are also growing. Our government is encouraging tier 2 cities to take it to the next level. So tons of opportunities in the pipeline, guys. So with that, and as the panel mentioned very clearly, so they look for companies who can match their culturally, who can look for opportunities where they meet their requirements, and pick up some use cases where they're already working, existing, so that they'll get a quick, uptime. So those kind of a thing. So we need to look for opportunities, see how best we could utilize the existing opportunities within the corporate system. So thank you all for coming in. So any questions from the crowd? No questions? All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good that they already stayed. That itself is a big thing.
I know. Thank you very much for staying back and looking forward to your next session. And over to Rebecca. Thank you. Thank you, GPR, Kiran, and Lakshmi. Kiran, you want to say something?
Thank you and pleasure to be here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bharadwaj. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause, and keep that applause coming as I invite on stage Mr. Rajesh Pagadala and Mr. Murli Kakarla. They need no introduction. Let's give them a warm welcome to We'd also like to thank Mr. Hari Bharadwaj, who was the Thai CM champ and curated the session.
with announcing MOUs with the government of Telangana, with the departments like MSME department, which is a great honor to be in. And then we are closing with another MOU announcement hopefully coming up from, and then make a lot of differences. We have done many programs. HEEC, a great another initiative kicked off on the same platform, 20 different partners across Telangana trying to have great dignitaries stage. Look at this stage. Have so many people come here and receive those awards. It was a wonderful day yesterday. Today was another amazing day. Right? We have had 5 different places, a lot of action, ecosystem track, industry track, main stage. Right? We have had pitching. So many dignitaries waited to complete their tasks. People in the government, people traveled from Bangalore. Thank you, everyone. Thai, Hyderabad. Kudos to all of you. Charter members, associate members, 400 members have to heavy lift this job. This would not have been possible without the help of a secretariat. We have a very strong
And for that, every charter member who was involved in that, of course, your leadership, Rajesh, and driving us literally has, had the effect, and Murli, you too, and, my ranting calls to you and everything. Support both of you that you have given me, and also a special thank you to all our associate members. They have owned it as their own, and they have been volunteers. They have taken up every small little thing that we have asked them, and they have been there, and this wouldn't have been possible without them. And we had some great partnerships, some great, amazing partnerships. So, we one thing, and what can be achieved if it can be done. So, I hope this is just the beginning of it for Hyderabad, and, the ecosystem comes together. See, the way it started was great, and this is going to be something that we are going to carry in our hearts for a long, long time, no matter how many things we achieve. So thank you so much for that. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Shantala. Thank you very much. Definitely, HEC is going to be going forward. The true theme of this summit, transforming tomorrow together, I believe. The theme has come into action. Now we have to see. Now, before I give the mic back to Murali, there is one guy here called Mohan. Okay, he's like, I want you to come up, right? Okay, and then there's another guy next to him called Subraju. Okay, these two, just a kind of moral support they have given, they themselves don't know. Okay, but just thank you so much, guys, for being there. For all my stupid bouncing of ideas. Thanks to Tudor, LSR Tudor, for writing the first check and encouraging us, being a platinum sponsor. We could never have done it without your initial encouragement. EIPL Awards sponsor, and also our MSN hospitality sponsor, who has, even though onboarded towards the late end, but I'm sure will be creating the value. They've seen the value in this, and obviously TIE 50 sponsor Qualcomm. Sashi, thank you very much for supporting. I know we are always there, and then we'll ensure you will continue to support us the next 5 years. Okay, thank you very much for that.
Happy birthday, Sashi.
Oh, happy birthday, Sashi. Yes. Oh, yeah, we share a birthday, right? And then Thai Women program sponsor, name Kotas. So, yeah, Kotas Foundation. It's by Subbu Kota Garu. He is one of our earlier charter members who lives out of Boston, supports entire Thai women programs globally. And then I was able to tap into his foundation to be able to get a sponsor out of a sponsorship out of that. Thank you. During my request, just a call. I know I had to get that money out of your pocket, but thank you. And then Pawan, thanks again. I know we could have had a stronger relation, stronger engagement. I'm sure we will get there pretty soon, right? And then associate sponsors, media sponsors. Thank you, RTV, iCube, and eZone for outreach partners, HR Next. eThames and Rockwell, these two business schools have been a backbone for facility support for us. Thank you guys for both of us for being there whenever is required. And Titans, they are ticketing partner. Thank you guys for, I know there is a little bit of hiccup, but I know you need to improve, but thanks for being there in this journey. Thank you. Murali, back to you. Please come. Please have to come up, Arun. Come here. Yeah. I don't need to worry. I know that. Okay. So great work. I know we pulled it off. Little hiccups here and there. We have a great time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. Anything else? Did I miss anybody? Did I miss anyone? Catering partner, Beer Cartel for Toshedan, Beer Cartel Toshedan, Ashwant Reddy. Thanks, Ashwant, for taking up a little larger job than you can handle. They're making sure the food was great. And the most important thing, the charter members who are still sitting in the front. Okay? The charter member still in the front. Who? Prabodh, don't hide your face. Thank you very much. Raghu, thank you very much. I know you're our moral support. Board, what are you saying? Come here, come up. You have to come as a board member. You have to come up. And really appreciate the board support. We were there. And not last but the least, Hari, thanks for being a charter member. I know you pulled off a jury. Hey, come on, Hari, come on. Please come. We'll take a, yes. Thanks for Hari for being there. He always guides me, nudges me slowly, little bit, so that I know the things are not covered. Prabodh, Raghu, please come. Prabodh. So, Donna we recognize from TIE 50. Yeah. So, yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Over back to you.
Back to me. Guys, this is the team that is left out here. There are many more people, associate members, charter members, a lot of them supported us. Thank you, everyone. One group picture before I call out my next. Thank you.